Good morning, students. So this is physics class 12th chapter number 5 and lecture number 3. In this lecture we'll be studying about magnetic elements. Okay, so to start with we have three magnetic elements: magnetic declination, magnetic inclination or magnetic dip, and horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. So we will be studying them one by one. So before starting that, okay, to start with, first of all, look at this diagram. This circle is representing our Earth. This is your geographical North Pole. This is your geographical South Pole. This is your Earth's magnetic pole. And this is also, these are the magnetic poles, these are the geographical poles. Okay, so now this is the geographical axis, this is the magnetic axis. This I have already told you in the last lecture. And okay, so now as you know, magnetic field lines always go from North Pole to South Pole. So these magnetic field lines are going from magnetic North Pole of the Earth to magnetic South Pole of the Earth. Okay, so these orange lines represent the magnetic field lines. Okay, so now magnetic declination, first is our magnetic declination. Magnetic declination is defined as the angle between geographical axis and magnetic axis. Okay, the angle between geographical axis and magnetic axis is called magnetic declination. Now if we see in the diagram, this is our geographical axis, this is our magnetic axis. So this angle theta is called magnetic declination. Okay, second is magnetic inclination or magnetic dip, and we represent it by del. Okay, so to define it, angle between a line drawn parallel to Earth's surface and magnetic field line is called magnetic dip. That is, to represent magnetic field in the diagram, you need two things. First of all, a line drawn parallel to Earth's surface, and second, magnetic field line. So now again look at the diagram. See, I consider this point. This line is parallel to Earth's surface. So this is our first thing which we want. Now we want a magnetic field line as well. Okay, so if I draw this line here, so this line is our line which is parallel to Earth's surface, and a tangent on the magnetic field line. This is our magnetic field line. Okay, at this particular point. So we have now two things, that is a line parallel to Earth's surface and magnetic field line. So the angle between them is called magnetic dip. That is, this angle is del. Okay. Okay, so now if we talk about magnetic poles and magnetic equators, we will see what should be the value of del. At poles, del will come to be 90 degree, and at equator, magnetic equator, del will come to be 0 degree. So again, look at the diagram, how it comes. See, this is the magnetic axis, or you can say these are the magnetic poles. So somewhere this line will be magnetic equator. Means here, a magnetic equator will be there. So if you draw a line parallel to Earth's surface, this will be the line. And this will be the magnetic field line. So that means these two lines are parallel to each other at equator. If they are parallel, that means at magnetic equator, the value of del will come to be 0 degrees. And similarly, these are the poles. Now, if you see clearly, at just on this pole, the magnetic field line is making an angle of 90 degree with the parallel to Earth's surface, because only this line will be parallel to Earth's surface. So the angle is 90 degrees. So we can say at at poles, del is 90 degree, and at magnetic equator, del is 0 degrees. Okay, so the next is horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Again, look in the diagram. Now, this is B, this is del. Now, B can be resolved in two directions, as you can see here. So this one direction will be parallel to Earth's surface, and one direction will be perpendicular to Earth's surface. Okay, so the component of magnetic field which is parallel to Earth's surface is called horizontal component, and we represent it by BH. And this component which is perpendicular to Earth's surface is represented by BV, and this is called vertical component of magnetic field. So from here you can say BH is B cos del by resolving B, and BV is B sin del. Okay, so BH is B cos del and BV is B sin del. So now if you divide these two equations, you will get tangent del to be BV upon BH. Okay, so we have this horizontal component and this vertical component. Okay, so now again if I talk about magnetic poles and magnetic equators, this we can just tell by the formula. So now as you know, BH is B cos del, and you also know at magnetic poles del is 90 degree. So BH will become B cos 90. And cos 90 is 0, so BH will come to be 0. Okay, similarly, we talk about magnetic equator. Del is 0 at magnetic equator. BH is again B cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So BH will come to be B. So you can see at magnetic poles, there is no horizontal component. And in magnetic equator, there is a horizontal component. But if we calculate if we calculate vertical component at equator, del is 0. And vertical component is B sine del. Sine 0 will be 0. That means vertical component will come to be 0 at magnetic equator. Okay. So now there are some things which are related to horizontal and vertical components. The first is above the surface of Earth, direction of horizontal component is from south, that is geographical south, to geographical north. Second point is for half portion BH is inwards and for other half portion BH is outwards. This is obviously if you will take a point and you will draw a parallel line to Earth's surface and you will calculate del and then you will resolve the B, then you will get for half portion BH will come inside and for half portion that BH will point outwards. Okay. Next is, okay, so now if I suspend a magnet freely at equator, can you tell in which direction will it point? Now, as you know, at equator, as we have just calculated, BV is 0 and it has some horizontal component. That means at magnetic equator, there is no vertical component of magnetic field, only horizontal component is there. So we can say a magnet suspended freely at equator will set itself parallel to surface of Earth because BV is 0. And parallel ka matlab you have only horizontal component because as you know horizontal component is parallel to Earth's surface. Okay. So now if I suspend it at pole, now at pole you know BH is 0. So it will have only vertical component. So at pole it will be vertical because horizontal component is 0. Okay, so I am summarizing it once again. If you have a magnet and you suspend it freely at magnetic equator, then it will set itself parallel to surface of Earth. While if you suspend it at magnetic poles, it will be vertical because at that point horizontal component will come to be 0. Okay. Important terms used in magnetism. So the first term is relative magnetic permeability, which is represented by mu r. So before that we have three things: mu, mu naught and mu r. Mu naught is the magnetic permeability of material in some medium. Mu is the magnetic permeability of the material in some medium. Mu naught is the magnetic permeability of the material in vacuum. And mu r is relative magnetic permeability. So mu r, that is relative magnetic permeability, is defined as the ratio of mu upon mu naught. That is, it is defined as the ratio of magnetic permeability of the material in some medium to the magnetic permeability of the material in vacuum. Okay, and SI unit of magnetic permeability is Tesla meter ampere inverse. Okay. Okay, so the second is magnetizing force, which is denoted by H. Now, if we suppose N is the number of turns per unit length in a material and I is current. Okay, so H is defined as the product of Ni. So H is basically Ni. Okay, now as you know, B is equals to mu Ni. Okay, you have studied mu naught Ni. That was in vacuum. But if we are talking about a material medium, then it will become mu Ni. Okay, so Ni is H. So we can say B is equal to mu H or B is equals to mu naught H. Okay, SI unit of magnetizing force is ampere meter inverse. Okay. Okay, so the next is intensity of magnetization. Intensity of magnetization is first of all denoted by I and it is defined as the ratio of magnetic moment per unit volume. Now, as you know, the formula of magnetic moment is pole strength into 2A and volume is defined as area into 2A, that is area into length. 2A will cancel out, so you will get M by A. Okay, so SI unit of intensity of magnetization is ampere meter inverse. Okay, so the next is magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility is defined or denoted by chi M. Okay, so magnetic susceptibility is defined as the ratio of intensity of magnetization to the magnetizing force, that is I by H. Now, as I have already told you, the SI units of I and H are same. So that means magnetic susceptibility is a dimensionless quantity. Okay. Okay, so the next is relation between mu r and chi m, that is relative magnetic permeability and magnetic susceptibility. Okay, so first of all, B is equals to B naught plus Bm, that is total magnetic field of material. Okay, B is total magnetic field of material, B naught is magnetic field in vacuum due to magnetizing force, and Bm is magnetic field due to magnetization. Okay, so if you have a material and you want to calculate its total magnetic field, that total magnetic field is equals to the magnetic field due to vacuum, or you can say in vacuum due to the magnetizing force which was its own, and due to the magnetization, that is Bm. Okay, that is magnetic field due to magnetization, that is I. Magnetization is I only. Okay, so now if B is equals to B naught plus Bm, now if we put the values, B naught is mu naught H and Bm is mu naught I. Okay, because this was in vacuum and this was due to magnetization. Okay, so now if I take mu naught common, it will become H plus I. Mark it first equation. Okay, now you know chi m is equals to I by H. Mark it second equation. Okay, so if I rewrite this equation as B is equals to mu naught, I take H common, so it will become 1 plus I by H, and from second equation I by H is nothing but chi m, so this will become B is equals to mu naught H into 1 plus chi m. Okay, also B can be written as mu H as I told you earlier, so this becomes mu H is equals to mu naught H into 1 plus chi m. H will cancel out and mu upon mu naught is nothing but relative magnetic permeability, so mu upon mu naught will be mu r. So this will give a relation between mu r and chi m, that is mu r is equals to 1 plus chi m. Okay. Okay, so the next is null points. As it is clear by name, null points means the point where something is zero. And as we are talking about magnetic field, so we can say if net magnetic field at a point is zero, then that particular point is said to be null point. Okay, so I'm repeating it once again. If net magnetic field at a point is zero, then that point is called null point. And remember, net magnetic field should be zero. Okay, so in net magnetic field means all the components of all the fields present in the region will be taken, and if net is zero, then null point will also then that point will be null point. Okay. Okay, so after studying these topics, you can do question number 10, 11, 13, 14 and 23 from your NCERT book. Okay students, now I'll discuss the homework solutions of the questions that were given to you in lecture number 2. In total, 5 questions were given to you. Question number 3 was just a formula based question, so I'll be discussing now question number 4. Okay, so the question number 4 says, a short bar magnet of magnetic moment 0.32 Joule per Tesla is placed in a uniform external magnetic field of 0.15 Tesla. If the bar is free to rotate in the plane of field, which orientation would correspond to its stable and unstable equilibrium? So you know this very well. When theta is 0 degree, that will correspond to stable equilibrium, and when theta is 180 degree, that will correspond to unstable equilibrium. Okay, so the second part of the question says, what is the potential energy of the magnet in each case? Now, as I told you the formula, U is equals to minus mb cos theta, from where we calculated stable or unstable equilibrium. So the same formula we will use here, that is minus mb cos theta. For stable equilibrium, theta is 0, so put 0, you will get minus 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 2 joule. And for unstable equilibrium, put U is equals to minus mb cos 180 degree, because now for unstable theta is 180 degree. So you will get 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 2 joule. Now, as you can see, the magnitude for the work done or the energy in stable as well as in unstable equilibrium is same. Only the difference of sign is there. Okay. Okay, so the next question is question number 7. It says a bar magnet of magnetic moment 1.5 joule per Tesla lies aligned with the direction with a uniform magnetic field of 0.22 Tesla. This means that there is a magnet. This is the north pole, this is the south pole. Now, as you know, magnetic moment is from south to north, and in the question it is given that it is aligned in the direction of magnetic field. That means if magnetic moment is in this direction, that is from right to left, magnetic field is also present from right to left. Okay, So now first part of the question says, what is the amount of work done to turn the magnet so as to align its magnetic moment normal to the field direction? Now initially the magnetic moment is parallel to magnetic field. Now if you want to align it to a perpendicular direction, then as theta 1 is 0 initially, so theta 2 must be 90 after rotating it. So now we'll use the formula of work done, that is minus mb into cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. M and B are given to you in question. Cos theta 2, that is cos 90 is 0, minus cos theta 1, that is cos 0 is 1. So solve it, you will get 0.33 joules. Okay. So second part says, what is the amount of work done to turn the magnet so as to align its magnetic moment opposite to the direction of field? Now initially same angle is 0, but now if we are turning it opposite to the direction of field, that means theta 2 will become 180 degree. So we will again use the same formula. We'll put the values of theta and we'll get 0.66 joule. Okay. Okay. So the third part of the question says, what is the torque on the magnet in the above two cases? Okay. So as you know, formula of torque is M cross B. So it is MB sine theta, and theta is the angle between M and B. As in first part, we have aligned the magnetic moment perpendicular to the field direction. So theta will be 90 degree. So just put theta equal to 90 degree and solve it. You will get 0.33 Newton meter. Okay. Now for second part, again torque is M cross B, but in second part we have put the magnet such that its magnetic moment is opposite in the direction of magnetic field. That means theta is now 180. So we will use MB sine theta, that is 180 degree. And as you know, sine 180 is 0. So torque will come to be 0 in this case. Okay. Okay, now question number 8 is again a just formula based question. So I hope you all must have done that. Okay.